The HMS Sirius is arguably Australia's most important shipwreck. She was the flagship of the First Fleet, so that really places her right at the very heart of Australia's beginnings. January 1788, and the most important role that she had was carrying also Arthur Phillip, who was to become the governor of the new settlement. The Sirius really was also psychologically a very important ship to the two new settlements. Norfolk Island, of course, was settled just a few weeks after Sydney, and the two settlements really struggled for those first 2 years, and they really relied on the Sirius and also the much smaller supply as their only two means of communication with the outside world. The impact, therefore, of the wrecking of the Sirius here in 1790 was absolutely enormous. It was enormous because they were struggling to survive anyway, but it was enormous psychologically because really the key ship had gone. Their key means of communication with the outside world was gone. The museum that we've established here really has a lot of roles to play. One of the roles is about telling the story of the Sirius and that First Fleet journey and celebrating that. And the other is also about telling the story, of course, of the wrecking event. But we also have this other wonderful story, which is a modern day story, which is the story of the recovery of the artefacts off the reef. And those artefacts, the majority of the artefacts you see in the museum today were recovered during the 1980s and up to 2002 in a number of expeditions. The pier store has unsealed walls and a much lower ceiling, and so it meant that the temperature and humidity fluctuations are much greater. It really environmentally was not good for this collection, and given that this collection is our nation's most important maritime collection, it was very important that it be moved into a place where we can care for it in a lot better conditions. The amazing job of moving a 1.7 tonne anchor, 2 carronades, multiple ballast blocks, all of the other pieces of this collection fell to a number of people. First of all, our local Norfolk Island men, Kane Henderson's dialer digger crew, came and did a lot of the work, and they were also matched with Franklin Randall, who's been involved with every move of this anchor, I think, since it was recovered in 1973, and we couldn't do the move simply without him. We then had the absolute delight of being able to place this anchor back on its stock. The stock was built actually also by Franklin Randall in the 1980s, and the anchor was able to be manoeuvred into place, and so that when you walk into this beautiful building with its lovely high ceiling, the anchor is there standing on its stock and looking so imposing and beautiful. And at the front of it, or towards the front of it, we have the 2 carronades from 1788, our important story from 1788, which was really marked by that disastrous event at the time of the wrecking of the HMS Sirius, but that very kindly leaves us with this wonderful, wonderful collection here on this island.